What if all oil suddenly disappeared from Earth? The invisible backbone. It's Tuesday morning, your alarm goes off. You reach over and tap your phone screen to silence it. The phone is made of polycarbonate plastic, derived from oil. You shuffle to the bathroom and squeeze toothpaste onto your brush. The tube is polyethylene, also oil. You pull on a t-shirt made of polyester, oil, lace up your sneakers with synthetic rubber soles, oil. Eat cereal grown with fertilizers made from oil. Then drive to work on asphalt roads paved with oil, in a car running on oil with tires made from oil. By 9 a.m., you have personally touched over 50 products that exist only because of petroleum, and then, poof, it's all gone. Every drop of crude oil on Earth vanished, instantly, not slowly declining over decades, not replaced by something better first, just gone. Like someone flipped a switch on the most load-bearing pillar of modern civilization and walked away. So, what actually happens? Hour zero. The first thing that stops is the cars. Every petrol and diesel engine on Earth cuts out simultaneously. On highways and tunnels, on bridges, mid-intersection, mid-surgery, mid-flight. Around 25,000 commercial aircraft are in the air at any given moment. With no jet fuel, engines flame out across every continent within hours. Pilots scramble to glide toward the nearest runway. Most make it, not all. Trains running on diesel grind to a halt. Cargo ships stop mid-ocean. The trucks that move food from farms to warehouses to supermarkets, all of them stopped, frozen in place like a snapshot of a world that used to work. Within 24 hours, the global supply chain, the invisible system that puts food on your shelf, is dead, and this is just day one, the hunger problem. Here's where it gets genuinely catastrophic, and it has nothing to do with driving. Modern agriculture runs almost entirely on oil, not just the tractors and harvesters that run on diesel. The fertilizers that grow the food in the first place are made from oil and natural gas, specifically the Haber-Bosch process, a century-old method that pulls nitrogen from the air and turns it into ammonia, feeds roughly half the world's population. No oil means no fertilizer. No fertilizer means crops fail at a scale that makes historical famines look like a bad harvest. Crops, oil, the plastic irrigation systems. Oil, the refrigerated trucks keeping food from rotting on the way to you. Also oil. Experts who've studied this scenario put the timeline at around 2 months before developed nations begin to face starvation on a mass scale. Not because the food disappears overnight, but because the system that moves it, grows it, and preserves it collapses faster than any government can respond. 8 billion people, 2 months, no plan B. The hospital problem, meanwhile. Walk into any hospital in the world and look around. The IV bags hanging above patients, polyvinyl chloride from oil, the syringes, the surgical gloves, the catheters, the sterile packaging around every single instrument used in every single procedure, gone. Most pharmaceuticals are synthesized from petrochemicals. Aspirin, antihistamines, antibiotics, chemotherapy drugs, anesthetics, antidepressants, all have petroleum-derived ingredients at some stage of production. Pacemakers and artificial heart valves are made from medical-grade plastics. Contact lenses, prosthetic limbs, hearing aids. Modern healthcare doesn't just run on oil, it is built from oil. Within weeks, hospitals are operating in conditions not seen since the 19th century. Infections that antibiotics used to knock out in 3 days are killing people again. Surgeries that required sterile plastic equipment can no longer be performed safely. The people who needed oil to stay alive stop staying alive. The stuff you forgot was oil. But let's take a breath from the apocalypse and appreciate something almost funny. Over 6,000 everyday products are made from petroleum, not powered by it, made from it. Toothpaste, lipstick, crayons, guitar strings, footballs, surfboards, the ink in your pen, the paint on your walls, chewing gum, candles, eyeglasses, wetsuits, the keyboard you're typing on, the mouse, the screen you're staring at, all of it, partial derivatives of crude oil, even the wind turbines and solar panels that were supposed to replace oil. Their blades and casings are made from petrochemical plastics and resins. The batteries in electric cars contain plastic components. The wiring insulation running through your walls is PVC, oil. There is a real and deeply ironic possibility that the green energy infrastructure designed to get us off oil couldn't be built without it. The geopolitical implosion oil doesn't just power economies, it balances them. The entire post-World War II global order was structured around who has oil, who needs it, and who controls the routes it travels through. Saudi Arabia, Russia, Iran, the UAE, countries whose international power is almost entirely derived from sitting on top of the stuff. The day oil disappears, that power evaporates with it. Which sounds like it might be good news. It is not good news. Because what replaces a power vacuum that size is not stability. The scramble for whatever energy resources remain, natural gas, coal, uranium, lithium, begins immediately and turns ugly fast. Nations that were held in uncomfortable diplomatic balance by mutual oil dependency no longer have a reason to cooperate. The resource wars that energy experts have warned about for decades, they start now. Who survives best? Not everyone collapses equally. Countries with existing rail infrastructure, high renewable energy capacity, and strong agricultural land fare significantly better than those dependent on oil imports and car-based transport. Denmark, France, Switzerland, parts of Scandinavia, places that had already been weaning themselves off oil, have a fighting chance. Countries running almost entirely on imported oil and with no alternative energy infrastructure face the worst outcomes, which is most of the developing world and more of the developed world than anyone is comfortable admitting. In the U.S., about a third of electricity still came from fossil fuels before the disappearance. The grid starts failing within days as coal and gas delivery trucks stop running, lights go out, refrigeration stops, water pumping stations lose power. In a country built for cars with minimal rail, no oil means no movement. And no movement means no food, no medicine, no heat. Within a month, the United States, the largest economy in human history, is facing a collapse without precedent. The long dark and what comes after. Here's the uncomfortable truth about this scenario. Oil took civilization roughly 150 years to build. The infrastructure, the knowledge, the supply chains, the chemical industry, all of it assembled slowly, piece by piece, over generations. A sudden disappearance gives humanity none of the time it would need to replace any of it. The alternatives exist. Solar, wind, nuclear, biomass, electrification, all real, all viable, but scaling them up takes decades and requires, at every step, the industrial capacity that oil currently provides. You need oil to build the machines that replace oil. Without that runway, the transition isn't a transition. It's a collapse with a recovery-attached one that would take generations. In the scenario where oil disappears overnight, historians, if there are any left to write it, would record a death toll in the billions. Not from the disappearance itself, from the cascading failures in food, medicine, heat, and order that follow in the weeks and months after. The uncomfortable reality is that oil is not just a fuel. It is the molecular foundation on which modern civilization was built brick by invisible brick for over a century. Which is exactly why leaving it slowly, deliberately, and with a real plan is the only version of this story where things don't end badly. The poof version, nobody wins. All right, that's it for today on X Stupid. If this made you think, smile, or question reality, hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything. See you in the next one.